It's Lauren. I am on my way back from pickleball, and I am just thinking a lot today about self-love. And, I've been working on self-love for a long time, many months now. What I learned from my mom, who's a brilliant psychologist, she said that trust, I think I've said this before, but in any child's development, love has to come after trust. The child has to have trust in his caregivers, in the world that he or she is receiving love. I keep saying he just because I'm thinking of my son, the child has trust that they will get their needs met before they feel love, learn how to love. And so in this journey, as I try to learn self-love, because I'm coming from a place that I realized was pretty much all lack of self-love, and more so what was present was self-loathing. And honestly, this whole process, in a way, has been just simply the process of removing all of the negative and horrible thoughts that I had about myself and lack of self-worth, and learning how to fill that void with love. And I've never had true self-love before because I've never had true self-trust. I developed a pattern, and I think this is so common. This is so common. I mean, everyone, absolutely everyone, has experienced feelings of lacking self-worth. And at its core, that is the lack of self-worth comes from a questioning of whether you are truly loved. And I think this is like sort of a pervasive cultural piece that we are not learning. It's not like cultural universal knowledge of how to do this, of how to learn how to love yourself. People talk about it in these vague terms. Well, you have to love yourself, that kind of thing. It's like, what does that actually mean? And that's really what I've been focusing on in this process, because I want to put a big warning. You cannot go embark on you can, it's very risky. You do not want to embark on a journey of evoking really negative affect that's very deep, that needs to come out, negative emotions that need to be felt and healed, and healing those things. You don't want to embark on that until you have at least self-compassion. So back, it was about 10 months ago, I thought I had self-love when I first started this process. I was calling it self-love, but looking back, what I had developed and learned how to have true self-compassion for myself. Self-compassion for myself. Compassion for myself. And that is key. So you don't have to because I did it with self-compassion and questionable self-love and questionable self-trust. And it was okay, because if you have compassion and you have some tools ready, then when the shame spiral comes up, and it is highly probable, and this is why that it's highly probable that it will, especially the biggest wounds that are at the core of you, the father wounds, the mother wounds that have impacted your first and second chakra. And those two chakras, the root chakra and the sacral chakra, are where most trauma is stored. And so when these huge wounds come up, the biggest one for me when it came up, this shame spiral that started happening, was when I discovered that I was like a poster child for learned helplessness. It still has a little twinge in me, but when I first realized that, because I consciously know I'm not helpless, I'm not powerless, and I feel so much shame thinking that I've lived my whole life feeling helpless. I'm not that. And I remember the repulsion that I would feel seeing other people being helpless. And that's actually a key sign. So the things that you are most aversive to in other people are things in you that you have not embraced about yourself. Because we all, as human beings, all have every side, the positive and the negative of every characteristic that's possible. It's all within us. Love and hate, selflessness and selfishness and narcissism. We all have pieces and capacity for those things. The light and the shadow of each quality. We all have them in us. And in order to cultivate the balance that we're all looking for, we have to embrace the fact that that is within us. And if we just push it away, what ends up happening is unconsciously like sort of living in that. And I'm still trying to understand this myself, but I know that this is true. And I was so shamed because I had such negative emotion, I just had such negativity towards that idea of helplessness, that when I realized that that was me, when I looked at the patterns of my life, all of them together, and then I heard something that sparked this thought, and I went and Googled it. I started to read about learned helplessness. Oh my gosh, it was me to a T, and I started spiraling into a really intense, I feel the flush and it's just memory. It's just a memory.
In a quarter mile, turn left onto South Harrison Avenue.
It's just a memory of that trauma. And I healed a lot of it. There might be some left that I need to heal. Maybe I need to get, maybe the goal is to get to a place where there isn't really any emotion. And I don't have much emotion, but I feel some heat come up when I talk about it. So what I'm getting at is this: when a shame spiral starts to happen, it's really essential. It is so essential. I can't emphasize this enough. It's essential that you have some tools, some ability to stop the spiral with self-compassion and love. And I used this technique. It's called havening techniques, and it's I learned it from Eva Detko, and it's amazing for working through letting negative emotions come up and through you, but without the intensity of emotion of sobbing and anger. And when there's one that's really overwhelming, doing these stroking motions on certain parts of your body will calm you down. If you just keep doing it and then speaking, I'll do a video on how to do havening, but as speaking the feeling. So what I was feeling was shame, but it should really be ashamed. You say the feeling over and over as you're doing these motions. And what it does is it decouples in the brain the emotion from the memory. Now, when you're talking about trauma, you can't heal this stuff in one time. You have to do it over and over again. But that and the self-compassion and knowing, just being conscious of what was happening, and then being able to remember the compassion. And back then I thought it was self-love, and I was just trying to love on myself, that I had to do this. This was what I learned in childhood was the best technique for me to get the most love. And that's what every child's goal is. Every child's goal. And so whatever that strategy is what it is. And I believe it's our job as adults to go back, figure out what that pattern was, what is it creating in my present life, and how is it holding me back, or is it benefiting me? How is it benefiting me? How is it holding me back? And do I want to change this? And as adults, we have the power to do that. This is incredible, but you need tools like this. And this is what I want to teach. Because I'm learning it myself and it's changing my life. But so self-compassion, when you're embarking on a journey of pulling apart, of clearing the emotional wounds so that you can see your true self, that's the beauty. That's the beautiful transformational process. This whole process is about clearing the wounds that are impacting us in such profound ways that we don't have any clue until we start looking at it. They're impacting us in such profound ways, and it's about clearing those wounds to discover, to unveil your true self. Because it's not about becoming somebody else. I did think of it that way for a long time, and maybe I misunderstood something that I learned, but that's how I took it to mean that I needed to become something else, something new. And there's it's kind of true, but it's kind of false, because what's really happening is by uncovering these wounds, because the wounds are what created this sort of false persona in order to protect us, you, me. I had wounds, and I created strategies to live with those wounds. And that created behaviors, patterns, and behaviors and patterns create a personality. And a personality, we tend to cling to our personality like it is our true self. Like, this is me, that's just the way I am. And I was like that too. But it's false. Because we created these personalities, as I said, from these patterns, from these behaviors, which came from these beliefs, which came from these wounds. And so what's beautiful is that when you go in and you heal the wounds, these false beliefs sort of fall away because they don't have anything to hold on to anymore. And when the false beliefs fade away and don't have power over you anymore, you begin to see who you really are. And that is why I'm so passionate about this. This is why I'm so excited by this process, because it hurts like hell sometimes. It really does. Sometimes, maybe it's just the way I'm doing it because I'm just trying to figure it out on my own. But if you have the right tools in place, it's good pain. It's such good pain. You know, it's like a sore muscle that somebody is really like massaging, and that is good pain. This is good pain because it's like this poor wound, this poor inner child has been crying or angry for so many years, and you're finally letting her feel. And it hurts. And it's scary. It's scary to start going on a shame spiral. But if you have tools, just these couple of already having learned self-compassion, And then having a tool like havening or tapping, tools that can interrupt the spiral and calm the body. You can have these profound healing moments. I know because I've had them, and you can too. Profound healing moments. And then the healing of the body that happens after is unbelievable. It's unbelievable. I'm just feeling a moment of gratitude. Feeling a moment of gratitude for for going through this process and learning these things. Because, gosh, I'm just so happy. I'm just so happy to be discovering my true self. Gosh, my true self. I can feel the beauty. And I'm finding it, it's so much easier to learn self-love when you're starting to see your true self. Because there's an inner knowing, there's like this deep knowing of just it being right. That yes, this really is me. This is who I am. And it's you, so of course you're gonna love it automatically. It's harder to love a personality persona that you have created from wounds. And, we're not conscious of that. But back to what I was saying when I first started about self-love, the whole journey is basically learning how to self-love. It's basically what it is. Gosh, and I just have never thought of this. I mean, what if illness can't exist when it's covered in love? When every part of your body, mind, spirit is loved, and you fill it with love and care, and just like you cherish yourself and you treat yourself with all the actions that come with love. Can there be illness? I don't know. I've never thought about that before. That is fascinating. I don't know the answer, but I'm still learning how to love. And one of the things that I'm learning is helping are these meditations that I go in to heal the self-loathing. And maybe I'll do a video on that. But that's been really helpful. And then, of course, as I'm saying, the other thing that's helpful is discovering my true self. Another thing that's helpful is heart-centered breathing. So doing meditations where you are inhaling a deep breath and you focus your energy on your heart, like you're breathing in to your heart, and then exhaling out of your heart through your feet. So you inhale through the top of your head into your heart and just feel it swell, and then exhaling out of your feet. It opens channels in your heart chakra, and which is where love is. And for a lot of us, we've closed off our heart chakra because we learned it wasn't safe out there, and that our hearts need to be protected. But in this process is this beautiful step of learning how to open your heart again. And you know what? I believe that it's going to be even better than if it had always been open. it's like, to me, when you live in a place with sun 365 days a year, how can you be truly grateful for the sun? Now, if anyone's watching this and lives in a place that has sun all the time, I am not bashing that place. But for me, I hate cloudy days. I shouldn't use that word because I've learned how to appreciate them because it makes the sunny days just so much more gorgeous and full and just, enlivening. Fills me up. Um, I believe this is a beautiful process. It's hard, but it's beautiful. I mean, there is just no greater thing in the human life, I believe, than discovering your true self and living your true purpose. And when you start discovering your true self, then you can start seeing your true purpose and figure out how to live that. And that's what I'm doing. And that's what you can do too. You can do this. And you will be so full and happy and joyful. Because that's what it feels like to live your purpose. I have not started living it, but I'm getting a glimpse. I get a glimpse of what it feels like to do something in the direction of my purpose. And oh gosh, it feels amazing. A feeling I've never felt. I've never had in another thing that I've done. And you can too. And your soul drops the path in with breadcrumbs, and you just have to follow the breadcrumbs. Your soul will not tell you the end. This is your life goal. I'm going to tell you what you're going to get to at the end. It doesn't work that way. Your soul gives you the breadcrumbs, and the thing is learning how to see the breadcrumbs, learning from your own emotional reaction, a body reaction when you start to heal this stuff, and then be able to feel your true reaction. Not a reaction coming from a wounded place, but your true soul reaction of, yes, go this way. No, don't go that way. That's not the right way. This is the right way. I'll talk more about that. But this is exciting. And self-love is not just an easy, just love yourself. It's not that easy. You've got to figure out how to do that, how to feel that love, and how to send love to different parts of the body. Especially when you're healing from some sort of illness. When you've got an illness, you've got to learn how to send love to specific parts of the body. It can be tremendously helpful. So it can heal that part of the body. So, I'm working on sending love to my sacral chakra and my lymph, and, just to help heal the wounds that are holding on to all this fluid in my body. So, more to come on this. Thanks for listening, and I hope you all have a beautiful day. See you next time.